Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to GuildGab episode 102. This is War Eternal, the finale of season 4, and we're going to be talking all about it today with my wonderful co-hosts, RPG Alex, MMO Inks, and believe it or not, he is behind there. He's beautiful Guild Wars 2 screenshots right now. CorvusPlays.
Yeah.
Everybody is here. Everyone is here. Oh, sorry for the abrupt music stop there. That's me just being derpy. Anyway, yes, welcome to the show. The show that we do, 4 times a year now, maybe? It's been since January that we've had a show, since we've had an episode. But the finale. This was the finale of season 4. It happened. And what an ending.
Yeah.
To the season. I was expecting a little bit more of a lead into something else, like what's next. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
But I can't complain. It was nice and happy. It was a happy ending.
It's actually a happy ending, except the bit when you go and talk to Bram and everyone's happy, and then he's gonna be like, "Do you think Timmy will be alright?" I'm like, "No, mate, she's still gonna die."
Oh, you had to remind me. Yeah. No, Timmy.
I forgot.
I hadn't forgotten. Don't worry. I was like watching the ending cutscene, and I don't know what you're so bloody happy about, Timmy.
She has aspirations. She has aspirations. She does. She's gonna write some papers. She's gonna interview an elder dragon.
Maybe Garg's gonna sort something out for that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's possible.
But I think it was kind of cool that they that you got that kind of almost definitive kind of ending, because it's almost like when they were looking at the development cycle of how they're gonna lead into season 5, it leaves it very open ended. It doesn't say, all right, straight off the back of this, we've got to go and do another Elder Dragon, or we've got to go and deal with X faction or whatever. So it feels like they made the design decision to get to the end of season 4 with #spoilers, Krakatorik is defeated. And
spoiler warning,
they said,
by the way.
Oh yeah.
You guys knew coming into GuildGab. That's what we do. We talk about everything.
Yeah. I think we'd all jump to the conclusion that the bad guy dies, but you know, it's it feels like a little bit of a design decision that they made and said, right, we get to the end of season 4, let's see where we are after that, leave it relatively open-ended with a few kind of side plot, subplot threads going on, and then see where we can take it from there. So yeah, overall it's quite a satisfying ending. With
it feels kind of weird to actually have like a clean slate almost. Like, this is probably the most conclusive ending to anything that we've had since like the end of the personal story.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a little, either a huge cliffhanger or just something that's still ongoing. But it was kind of nice to have like a proper ending. The same way that like last episode was nice to have that super abrupt, harsh, you know, I don't know what to do kind of ending. Everything's crap. And then this episode is kind of like the opposite of that. I don't know. It was nice.
Can we?
And it gives them a kind of, I don't know. It sucks that there's not much to speculate on and where we're going, really, but it's kind of fresh to know that we could like get anything with the next episode.
Yeah, I agree. There's not, like you said, a big, like, we're going here to defeat this guy. We're going here to defeat this guy. While that would have been nice, it's like anything could happen from this. And I thought it was interesting in the patch notes, the description for Exordium, the new greatsword, which is amazing, and I'm totally gonna craft. Yeah. It said, I don't know the exact wording, but it said something like it was almost representative of like new magic and technology, and it is very like advanced because of how it transforms and is very unique to all of the class animations.
It's so cool.
Is like that could possibly be a hint that we're gonna be doing some kind of discovery of new things.
Yeah. It was. I think I can probably talk about this. I did a press event the week before. That's a bee. I've been invaded by bees.
Bees. That's Tyria's next threat. Is bees.
Bees.
We're gonna go to the bee lands and fight the bee dragon.
Fight the bee dragon.
The bee dog.
Fiddler. Fiddler, we don't want to eat the bee.
Don't kill it.
Like my women, like I like my. I like my women, like I like my coffee, covered in bees. What was I saying? Sorry.
You did a press event.
I did a press event probably a couple of weeks before the episode went live, and I was one of the great things was the devs just dropped Exordium into everybody's inventory, and they were just like, if you've got a character who can use greatsword, have a look at this. And for the next 5 minutes, he was just like, oh yeah. If you've got an elementalist, you use this skill, and if you've got a ranger, you use this skill. And it's like, oh, look at how it changes. And like they were so proud of what they'd done with the.
That's
the
sweet.
And it is cool. It's like because
really
in some of the previous episodes, you got like the little indicators for some little flavor text if you're like a ranger or an elementalist or whatever. But now they've taken that kind of concept and applied it to a weapon. And it's not every single skill that it does it on, but there's stuff like when you do a block, when you throw it, the Mesmer Greatsword auto attack. If you've not seen it yet, it looks incredible. It goes proper kind of. Looks like it looks like a little one of the mega. It looks a little bit mega lasery with like the rings round it. And
it was in the teaser where they first showed Exordium. And it was a Mesmer holding the greatsword out in front of it, like it floating in the air, and it transformed. Oh man!
Yeah,
it's so cool.
The devs are so proud of what they managed to do with that.
I love that,
and rightly so.
The little secrets behind something they developed. I remember when they made the dog whistle. Like, if you watch, like, the guild chat, they talk about these little things that they put in there, like you train it over time, things that you might not even notice if you didn't hear that from the devs. And they were just so proud of, like, the research they did on the dog breed. So all of the love that went into this greatsword, I can't even imagine. I can't wait to get it and just see it for myself in-game.
Yeah, and they had to do something. They had to do something spectacular for the greatsword because Twilight and Sunrise had that kind of exclusivity thing where you smush them together and you get the Uber Greatsword Eternity. So they needed to do something. They couldn't just knock out another good-looking weapon. It had to be something unique that says, right, this is why I want to get this over Eternity.
I'm really glad that they actually were so creative with it. Because it would have been super easy for them to do something that's kind of really flashy just for, flashiness' sake. So the fact that they actually put thought behind it. And I remember I've seen people say like they don't like it or it looks a bit boring or, whatever. But it's like in the details. That's where the merits are. It's so good. I really like it.
Yeah, some of the screenshots of it actually just happen to be flashing on the stream right now, and it's.
Oh really?
I mean, look at that! I don't know if that's a necromant, like a reaper. It looks like a scythe. Like it's amazing. It's unbelievable. I want to use it on every single class that I can, and just see the animations. Oh, it's well done.
I have to have a look now. Oh, I can see it. Oh, that's it's lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, it's just incredible. I can't wait to get it.
But oh, go on. Sorry, mate.
We should break. Oh, okay. No, that's fine. I was just gonna say we should start breaking down the story, maybe.
Yes,
yeah, for
I
sure.
have some thoughts about the story.
Do you?
Really?
That's why we're here to talk about our thoughts. The first instance, I felt like was some kind of ultimate moment from like an expansion. My mind was blown wide open that first instance. It was like, what? Oh my god, the setup for the map? Like the setup for the new map, literally creating a new island in Tyria? Yeah. What? It was, oh my god.
That first instance is so poorly structured.
Really?
The entire thing. Like, I mean, obviously they spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Aurine's not dead, obviously. I think most of us saw it. I think most of us saw it.
No one's predicted that.
That from when she ate Joker at the end of episode 3, she'd be able to use that.
But she's not undead. She didn't come back as like a lich, even though she used the Joker magic, which was.
Well,
she's nice and pretty and Aurine.
But she's immortal. but she
basically, yeah.
She can't die now, which is delicious
Scary.
plot.
Well, now that she's an elder dragon, spoilers, can she die now? 'Cause I don't know.
We've killed two
She's
of
like
them.
light now. I don't know.
We've killed two of them.
So before she becomes the elder dragon at the very end, which visually stunning.
Oh yeah.
So good.
They say something to the effect of when you dive into his mouth, Kralkatorrik's mouth, the commander says something like, no, only I can go because you could all die. Aurene can't die because she's got Joko power. And then somebody in the party says, but you could die. And you're like, but I am the commander. I can never die.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, you've already died as well.
The commander's defeated death already. Psh, been there, done that, came back.
Yeah. The main problem with the episode is that, or certainly this first story instance, is that while we've played it for the first time, we got to experience it 4 months after we first found out that Aurene died. On subsequent replays or people coming into the game, what's going to happen is that Aurene dies, and everyone's going like, "Oh no, I don't know," which was a very, very strong ending of episode 5. But then, like 5 minutes later, she's going to be alive again, and it takes all the it makes what should be a very emotional and kind of crucial point in the game. It makes it feel very impotent, and it just takes anything that's there out of it. I mean, it's if they wanted to bring it back, which I assume they always wanted to do, that they had this final bit in, they had the final bit in mind, that's where they wanted to be. That if they were going to bring Aurene back, it should have come later in the episode, or maybe that the entire season of episodes had been restructured so that Aurene doesn't come back 5 minutes after she's dead.
Yes, I agree. I feel like there should have been almost an episode in between those two events, the death and then the thing. But I understand why there wasn't. But I feel like there should have been more build up. I actually really like the instance, like the first one, especially with the whole flying bit, even if it kind of felt like a quick time event. But I do think there may be just a little bit more build up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kind of suffers from season 1 syndrome, where you had to be there, you had to experience it while it happened, and when these episodes were live, like we have, because ArenaNet, between the last episode and this one, between the All or Nothing Requiem short stories from Keith Ritlock and Zafira, the trailer, the teasers we got, just the posts at the community, like mourning Aurene. That is something that someone who didn't play it as it came out is just not going to experience that.
Yeah.
And so I feel fortunate as a player who keeps up on this game that I did get to experience that. I felt like ArenaNet kept driving home. Aurene's dead. It is sad. It is, this is, this feeling of dread and loss and hopelessness. They really, more than any other episode, kind of drove that into the community.
I wonder why. I wonder if they did that because, like, it was so heavily speculated. Maybe they felt like they had to, just to kind of mitigate that.
They had to push out more stuff.
Well, because it was heavily speculated that she was going to come back.
Yeah, something like that.
I was never a fan of that theory, to be honest. You're like, she's going to come back because she got the Joko magic. I was like, no, because she'll just come back, and then it's like, I personally enjoyed. I agree that there should have been that on subsequent playthroughs is going to be like, she just came right back. 5 minutes was, that could have been paced better, but for me, the way the I experienced playing the instance for the first time, kind of the animation of Keith pulling out the crystal and throwing it on the ground was brilliant.
So cool.
And you have to make that walk up to her body again, even though you know it's going to be there. It's still very somber. I don't know. All of the elements, the design elements that came together for the scene itself, I thought were beautifully done. And I didn't feel, when she came back, I didn't feel like it was a cop out. And Bram shouting praise Joko was the best thing ever. Like
Yeah,
after his
absolutely.
cackle, it was the best thing ever. And I was just like, I'm not mad anymore. This is the greatest thing ever.
Everyone
I
I
liked
played
it.
through that instance with, everyone started typing praise Joko / cheer and all that kind of thing. It was like, yeah. It was. I mean, the thing is, the first instance, it was very similar to how I feel about Game of Thrones this season. That the cinematography and how the scene is designed and executed, that's fantastic. Like, it looks great. Like, the voice actors are great. The effects are great.
Aurene talks. Aurene has a
Aurene
voice.
does talk.
Speaking of voice acting,
it's Tara Strong.
it's not.
Who is it? No, it's not. Is it not?
It's not.
I thought no. It's.
I'll
what's
pull
her
up
face?
who it is.
I thought
I
it
had
was
seen
Tara
people
Strong.
say it was Tara, but
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I was told
I don't know if that's true. People were telling me it was
I was told
Tara,
on
but-
Twitter by Tom Abernathy that it was someone else. I don't have the name off the top of my head. I
Yeah,
can find
Rognick
it. But
is saying Nika
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 Flitterman.
Flitterman, yeah.
Flitterman.
Yep, that's who it is.
Bottom.
I really liked her voice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked her.
Yeah, the voice
I
acting
thought
on
maybe-
Aurene was good. I don't know if I liked her talking though. I kind of preferred. I kind of preferred her communicating through Kaith or something like that.
It does kind of like, you know, it was like a cool, important thing that Kaith was this role, the voice of Aurene, and then now it's like, I don't need you to do that kind of thing. But maybe, you know, in the future, she'll become kind of like that.
Well, maybe we
ambassador kind of
can't.
thing.
Maybe Aurene can't talk to us directly now that she's a light prism elder dragon. I don't know. I don't know why she wouldn't be able to talk to us, but maybe she can commune through Kaith to us. Like if she can't physically come to us, even though we also have this kind of mind link with her, so maybe she'll still be able to send us like visions of things because she's prophetic. Remember, so she could maybe tell us, give us visions of things to come. And like more, she could say, "There's something happening over in Cantha. You should go see."
Well, funny you should say that because Nika Futterman's previous Guild Wars credits are Vizu in Guild Wars Factions, and also weirdly, she was Velvet Velour in Bloodlines 1 as well,
Cool.
which is lovely. Which is
So
a great
maybe-
game you should play.
Maybe Kaith will become kind of like an avatar of Aurene or something.
That's what I think,
I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I think where they decided to take Aurene, very much, like where they ended up taking Aurene, I can see why they would bring her back, and like the way that the story unfolds outside of that first instance, I think is really cool. I think that they managed to get a really nice mix between running around in the map and then doing a couple of instances as well. So once Aurene was back, you know, it's great. You know, she's not just another talking head. She's important. You know, she's like the voice I think is pretty much spot on for her. It's cool.
I would have liked some effect to make it sound less human. Just a little bit of an effect on it, but
they do put their dragon filter on it. You can hear a little bit of the cracks or whatever in the voice, just like they do in Char, where they add that little bit of growl to the voice.
Yeah,
you can tell that the dragon voice has the dragon filter. Let's call it.
Little bit of
Rognick in chat says that they actually talked about Aurene during the guild chat, and they had to make her talk because when we were writing her through the mists, Kaith wasn't there to give us any kind of exposition or talk and stuff, so they needed, you know, a more direct voice for her.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Which makes sense, and I'm glad. Imagine just hearing Kaith over the
over the comm, over like
yeah,
whatever they're communicating with. Yeah.
No, I just want Timey to talk to me. Why can't she be the voice of Aurene?
Because she's not allowed to talk.
I don't know. She was good this episode, I thought.
She was
actually,
all right this episode.
Sorry, go ahead, Inks.
So the first chapter, or whatever you want to call it, from me, you know, I even though we had 4 months, I knew Aurene was coming back. I don't think, like, when ArenaNet kills a character off, most of the time I just don't believe that character is really gone.
Yeah.
because I know like they're gonna bring them back, especially if they're a fan favorite.
Mm-mm.
So even her death didn't really have that impact, unfortunately. And then when she came back, I was like, this is too soon.
Really, her death didn't have that. Really?
No,
I mean, okay, the Jogo
because I
thing,
knew
but
she
like,
wasn't gonna die. Like I knew that this is
Mhm.
just fake, right? This is fake news.
right?
She's not really dead. Somehow they'll bring her back, even if I didn't believe the Joko thing, which I did. But
Okay.
I just felt like you're not killing Aurene because how else are you telling that story? I just didn't believe it.
Yeah.
So-
okay.
People
fair
will
enough.
quit the game because you killed Aurene.
Yeah, and so it bothered me a tiny bit. And again, this is all very nitpicky stuff, but it bothered me a tiny bit that they had this whole discussion at Rezzed actually about making character death meaningful. When the next episode you're bringing those characters back, I just it's so difficult for me to believe that.
I watched that and I see what I mean, but I think there's a difference between making a character's death meaningful in the long run and then executing the emotional impact properly, which I think they did.
Yeah, I think they did for
At
sure.
the end of episode 5, the emotional impact. I mean, even I, and I'm not, I'm not very emotionally invested in the story. I just kind of
Alex,
enjoy.
you have a little cry.
I cry every time. Come on. But no, yeah, I think, yeah, I think it certainly it's got a little bit of that Doctor Who syndrome that Steve Moffat doesn't quite get, that like character deaths have to have consequences, and which is what he did in the last season with in Capaldi's last season. Like
Spoilers.
When
Yeah, dude. What
it's
the
like
hell?
it's like came out like 4 years ago.
Yeah, but like I haven't watched it in like 5 years, man.
Oh, dude, you've got to watch the last season with Capaldi. It's really, really good. Anyway, the point was the way that the companion in that series of Doctor Who, the way that their story arc resolves is really good, and Moffat ends up getting away from that kind of not necessarily a final outcome for that character, which is really cool.
Well, the quote-unquote problem with the world of Tyria and the mists and the underworld that they've set up is people do go to an afterlife. There are ghosts of all the characters. We've seen Snaff and Air.
Normal lives.
Right. I mean, in this episode, apparently Kralkatorrik's just eaten the underworld. So you've got all of the ghosts from the underworld, and they're just wandering around Tyria now, even like helping you with missions in the map, which I can't complain getting to talk to Gwen. But
yeah, I was gonna say Gwen too.
Yeah, which is
no one's gone forever in Tyria.
Right. So
I have a big problem with that. Oh my god, I'm glad you brought that up, actually, Peachy, because the whole mists thing is I don't know why it annoys me or bothers me, but it does. The fact that you can die, then you go to the mists, but you continue to live perfectly normal life for the most part, and well, when needed, you can just form an army and continue to fight bad guys, and you're already dead. So what's the risk of dying ever? And if you guys remember, one of the reasons that I disliked Timey so much early on, which by the way, I like her much better this season, but one of the reasons I disliked Timey so much early on was she was a child, and ArenaNet said she's basically immune to death. She can't get hurt because she's a child. And now we have the same plot armor with Aurene. She can't die because she drank Joko juice. It annoys me that they protect these characters from, like, when you see Aurene come back next time, or if there's any more story with her, that she can't die. She's immune to all that. So it's like,
well, the thing is, this is a kind of a problem just with how the story is told, because if they played out this whole season with the intention of them not dying, but they didn't have that super obvious immunity to death, it would add like some urgency and like, oh my god, maybe something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But because we know like this character's immune, oh, this is the thing, like it kind of ruins that sense of risk or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Tiny
maybe
is older now, though. She was drinking.
She got drunk.
She
Yeah,
was
she got
drinking
drunk,
on the airship. So is she not immune anymore? Is she not a child anymore? I mean, she's a big Asura now. Actually,
I mean,
yeah, I feel like she's past that now.
She's dying anyway, though, isn't she?
right.
So-
She is dying, but will she
We're all
actually
dying.
die?
I don't believe for a moment that they're going to kill Timey.
Mm.
I just no. Come on, really? She's gonna die of some disease? That's her death? No, they won't ever let that happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They'll end up slapping her in a golem or something.
Yeah, they'll put her in a golem or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
Blish,
that's fine.
it's gonna be the same as Blish, man.
Mm.
They're gonna like just shove her in a golem.
I think the problem was with that comment, and that really threw me out at the moment as well when the first time I played it through, and I mentioned it in my review as well, that that 2 or 3 lines throwaway, Aurene can just resurrect herself. It just wasn't necessary.
There was no need for that. Like, we had to go in there. You didn't need to have that line there just to kind of make it feel like there was no risk, Yeah.
Also, how do we know that? How do we know that Aurene can come back to life again?
Because
if we crush her with a steamroller, is she going to get back up?
Yes, as long as there's not a crystal in her heart. They tell you in the story. There's a line that says that she can just resurrect herself because of Joko, because of the Joko magic.
That would have been a good time. Was it being expended?
That's what I was going to say.
Not that it matters anymore,
because
she's a light dragon. But
no, but they could have said something like, "Yeah, but I think it's only a one-time thing," or "I don't think I could recover from that again." Like just even like a little seed to just make it feel like okay,
little doubt.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't need to be like, "Nah, don't worry, man. I cannot die. It's all good." Like it just
like Aurene didn't say that line. The commander said that line. So sure, it's possible that we as the commander don't understand it, but the commander is telling the player basically, look, it's okay. She can't die. She's got Joko juice. And
if the commander's saying something that could be wrong, I feel like that's just bad storytelling. It's making us believe a whole different, like, it's just not like a smart thing.
But it does make sense because Joko couldn't die no matter what happened to him, no matter how bad you beat, except for Aurene eating him. That Aurene eating him was literally the only thing that could kill him, apparently. Because everything else, he just kept coming back to life. He might have a little bit of downtime, but
that's true.
Yeah. Well, maybe if Aurene gets eaten, because I'm assuming the reason it happened was because she can absorb magic, essentially, right? As a dragon. So maybe if her magic or life magic or whatever gets absorbed by something else, that could kill her. But
possibly. But they sort of cover that too in the end instance where Grandpa Kralkatorrik tells her that you're unique, you're special, you're one of a kind, even though you had Vlast, but she's special. So that's the reason she can do all the things that she can do, is because she's unique.
Yeah, but I felt like that was more addressing the fact that all of these different magics were screwing Kralk up.
Right, but not Aurene.
But it's almost like she's been bred almost.
Well,
to be able to contain all of this thing, and like Vlast tried.
She was, because the egg was so important. They even told humans to protect it. So she was. I think she was specially bred,
like designed or created.
Well, interestingly, Aurene is she's actually the first crossbreed of dragon that each other dragon has had its own domain. So Mordramoth, Kralkatorrik, Primordus, Jormag, etc., etc. When Aurene hatches in the Golden City at the end of Heart of Thorns, I think you see it for the first time in one of the first episodes of season 3. She's got the crystals coming out of her tail, but if you look at the designing on her face and compare it with the mouth of Mordramoth, it's quite obviously some styling that she's taken. So she's very much like a crossbreed of 2 different dragons. So whether or not that's the reason that she's able to balance several different magic types.
It's her egg absorbed Mordramoths, which had Zitans in there. So like from a kind of embryotic state, she was just
absolutely
consuming all of these different types. So I feel like she's special in the sense that she's like the only being that could theoretically contain all of these different types of conflicting magic. So,
Genuinely, because she
which is
definitely-
kind of it's cool because it kind of lets the dragon plot just kind of fall to the side now. You know, I don't want to get too ahead of myself or anything.
Well,
but, like,
I was so happy that in the final instance and afterwards where you get to talk to everybody, Logan, I was like, thank you, Logan. He was like, well, what about the magic, the balance of magic? What does this mean for that? Is there still something to do there? We don't know if does Aurene just fix everything? Is everything okay now? That's what we still don't know. So, and he actually addressed that. I love when the NPCs address these like player concerns, and I find that happens more and more. And I'm like, yes, Logan, that's exactly my question. So we'll see.
What about Bubbles? Are we just ignoring that he exists?
We're ignoring
unless he wakes up and starts attacking things. It doesn't matter.
We've got 3 dragons that are still around, man.
That's the only
but
reason,
we know Primordus and Jormag are asleep, right? Like, we know that.
Right, temporarily.
Like, we saw that happen.
Back up.
They're asleep, but they are going to have the same problem Kralkatorrik had to some extent because they have mixed magics.
Right.
Those elder dragons apparently can't handle that.
Yeah.
Right. Again, unless Aurene can somehow control them or balance them. I don't know. Is she going to give some of her ability to balance magic to the other dragons so everything's fine? I don't know. They did say like Glint's mission was complete, and wasn't one of her missions to balance the magics, because we saw in Path of Fire that vision. You saw the magics, they're not in balance. Like, she was working with the Forgotten to balance everything, and they did say like her mission's complete.
It's interesting because, like, you would expect it to be not complete until all of the dragon's magic had been kind of stored in Aurene. Because that surely is then, like, actual balance.
Yeah.
I
mean,
unless her being there somehow mitigates this. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
She can absorb all of the conflicting magic, so Primordus and Jormag just don't have that.
If they're going for the eventual end game, that there is only a single dragon that incorporates all of the magics, and that dragon is Aurene, that contains it's kind of interesting because one of the first ideas about, or certainly the way that humans dealt with magic in the Guild Wars universe, is that the magics were separated, so that I can't remember which one of the gods it was that smashed the bloodstone, or the original bloodstone, and separated the magics. But now we're kind of seeing like a reverse of this, that they're perhaps bringing all of a particular kind of magic back together, and it's not necessarily in the realms of possibility that they're all the same kind of magics. Because if you remember the vision that you had and Timey had in Omad's machine, that there's a lot of comparisons between the dragon magic and
gods, right?
Eternal alchemy.
Eternal alchemy. And then you even see the pale tree in the middle. So, maybe a lot of the religion and science and aspects of magic are just different ways of interpreting the same kind of natural phenomenon. And
that makes sense.
If all that's coming back together in a single unifying point, and that single unifier is Aurene, I think
that's actually that's a really good point, actually.
But so what did we think about seeing? I think this was pretty much the first time we saw Kralkatorrik in his entirety, wasn't it?
Dude looked like a hunchback, bro.
Yeah,
he was weird and all hunched over. I don't know. I thought he was cool though.
It was really
cool.
But
like his body was just like a ball in the middle of his tail and his neck, which were super long.
Don't judge him.
It was cool though. It was. I'm judging. I'm just saying.
I certainly thinks he looks the coolest out. He's certainly my favorite.
That instance was just so, I don't know. It was mind blowing to me. I loved it so much with Aurene talking. The music in the background was just perfect. She called him grandfather. Grandfather, look at me. I died. Oh my god. That teared me up. Legit. Like my eyes were just red. Oh my god, that was so intense.
We just like blew his wing off.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Oh damn.
Inks has the head in hand.
So, okay. Once again, like, and I'm gonna keep saying this through the entire episode, I think, because I feel it's true. Visually stunning. Like, I thought Kralkatorrik was awesome. I thought the dialogue and the fighting was amazing. But the entire time that I'm playing through it, I'm like, okay, so this is Zaitan 2.0.
It's like the Zaitan fight.
You're on rails,
but just on rails.
Time,
Yeah.
And you're just pressing 1 or sometimes 2 when you need to bubble, and then blowing his wing off. Like, I don't know. He's so massive, and I know he's hurt, and I know he's like damaged, and there's a weak point or something. But you blow his whole wing off.
But see, this is where I think there's a benefit.
The size of a living story zone. Like, I don't know.
Exactly,
like
and that's the
Aurene
map.
was too strong.
Yeah,
like I felt like Aurene was just like, I don't know. I felt like she was so super like overpowered in a way.
But she is. She's absorbed all this magic throughout the
tiny
past 2 seasons.
She
Right.
was
But
tiny.
here's the thing.
The size
I
doesn't
unfortunately
matter, Inks.
I don't know.
I can get where you're saying, you know, we were on rails again. Okay, yeah. But last episode is where we ourselves got to physically hack at Kralkatorrik and build the army, build this power. I think the point is that we can't defeat an Elder Dragon by ourselves. We need this other
Blew his wing off.
power. We need to blow his wings off. That's right. Bring him down.
Blow his tail off. So
Blows it
you know, when I got out of that instance, I had a very negative sort of feeling because it was on rails. I felt like, oh, Zaitan 2.0, here we, you know. But a few minutes later, I realized, you know what? It's not that bad because this is not the final fight. You know, it feels like
that's true,
the final fight for a second, but really, this is just an intermediate
Honestly,
step.
it was just
storytelling
there
is
to
better
set
in
up
this
the
It took
map
us
as well.
3 instances to down Kralkatorrik in the end.
Yeah.
I resolved with myself eventually that, you know what, Zaitan 2.0 is not that bad because we're going to get to actually fight him.
See, this
again.
is
Were you satisfied with how we did defeat him?
How did we kill him again?
We went inside. We went inside and pierced his heart with his own
inside his
blood.
mind.
Honestly,
Do you not
I did this on
remember?
my main account like 3 hours ago, and
Oh my god.
Yeah, like sort of. I was fairly satisfied, I would say, with the end fight.
I think it was good.
it was interesting.
For more narrative reasons, it was different, and it wasn't like, you know, a straight up thing. But like the story and Kralkatorrik's character kind of facilitated the instance being like that, while like Mordremoth was purely just like, we could fight. Like, it just felt like the devs taking not a shortcut, but just obviously making their lives easier. But for this, there was reasons behind it, you know, and I feel like that it was handled a bit better here. But just on what you were saying before and how the whole Zaitan thing, like, I played this whole season in a row with Val on her account because she hadn't caught up, and so I got to see, you know, what it's like if you play the episodes back to back. And while the death to the kind of rebirth thing was a bit crap because of it, it made it kind of feel like just a straight continuation of the fight from last episode.
Oh.
And so you had this huge, like, kind of multi-stage boss fight essentially, and it felt cool because you're just pressing 1 and 2, but I feel like it's a bridge and a way for them to introduce the map, but also just kind of there for the cinematic like experience of flying really fast and seeing this massive thing. And that's the problem with the Zaitan fight, is that you're not doing much, but you're also not looking at much. And I think that's like the biggest problem with Zaitan is
definitely.
that like it doesn't look visually impressive. You're not doing something that feels intense. You're just kind of standing around. Yeah. But this, while you're doing the same thing, just visually and stuff, there's more going on.
I guess my other problem with it was you had the rocks that you had to dodge, right? Which I was terrible.
I never even saw the rocks. They just flew by me. What? Was there rocks?
I was terrible at dodging the rocks, but I didn't feel like he ever attacked us. We're flying around him and we're shooting magic and we're blowing it. Like, at one point he flops on his belly.
Oh, when he turns around and looks at you and
us,
spreads his wings. So cool.
And I'm like, he's going to breathe fire on us or something.
Yeah.
And he does nothing. And I'm like, what?
Wait, he's injured, man.
Well, he's injured
He's injured, so he can't
Even
fight?
Though he killed Marine last episode, he's seriously wounded to the point.
That's true.
He's smashing through islands. He can't be that hurt.
Wait, he smashed through
That's
items
nothing
with
for an elder dragon. You can't.
Yeah, with his
like,
face, which
with
it
his-
doesn't seem like he's intending on doing that. You know,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
he's injured as hell. He's
he didn't
bleeding
fight
out his
back.
eye.
He just didn't fight back though. Like I don't know.
Yeah, but he's trying to
He was
escape,
running.
I think. And he's
the whole
he's
it was an
going
escape
through-
instance. He's trying to escape
Yeah.
us.
It's a chase. It's not like
It's
Yeah.
like a
fight.
school bus is trying to escape a motorcycle. It's not gonna happen. He's gigantic. When he
No, but I
started
think
to
he's
dodge
going
the
through all these-
portals, when he started to dodge the portals, I'm like, look, like he's so massive, right? It's like,
Yeah, but he's.
or he's
I
like,
think he's
oh,
escaping to
he
different
dodged
places.
it. I'm like, what? How could he dodge it? He's the size of freaking Atlanta. He can't dodge the freaking portal.
I think he's just trying to. I think he's just trying to run away to somewhere, and that he might be able to, get some
He's trying
energy
to hide
back,
from-
or
yeah.
some magic back.
I mean,
And
don't,
don't
get me
forget
wrong,
as
I
well-
get it, but I was just when he flopped on his belly, on his back. I mean, I thought for sure he was going to attack us, and he's
Yeah.
just like, "Stop it! You're annoying me." It's,
Yeah, but don't forget that he's like fighting himself as well. Like, if maybe it would have
That's a
been
good
more
point.
evident if they added a little bit of dialogue there. But don't forget, like, he's probably he embraces death the whole time. He just
Well,
wants release from the torment thing that's in his head, and
is
so
kind of-
he could be trying to almost help us by doing stuff
I
like
don't
that.
know. This is kind of my other bugbear about the story. I just wanted to mention. Did we all catch the mention to the Fissure of Woe as we were going through the portals?
Yeah,
It is
that was
not an
cool.
area that appears in the living world map. So maybe that asset isn't completely dead yet.
Ooh.
Well,
But-
he's consumed them now. I mean, I don't know if there's like a landmass or we were up in the air or what, but like she's saying, like he's consuming the Fissure of Woe. He's consuming the
Mhm.
underworld. Do those areas even exist anymore? What happens now when someone dies on
well,
Tyria?
Kind
Especially now that the gods are gone.
of what I meant
Yeah.
was that when you explore the living world map, each of these areas kind of is represented a little bit. So Melandru's Woods, there's obviously Krakatoric's Brand, and there's bits of the underworld of Grant's domain, and there's the fiery bit as well, which I guess would be Balthazar's
That's Fissure of
business.
Woe, Balthazar, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the actual kind of proper underworld, not underworldy, the actual proper Fissure of Woe stuff that appeared as the end game bit in Guild Wars 1, that doesn't make an appearance yet. So I'm just kind of hoping it's like, are they saying that Raid Wing 7's Fissure of Woe? Would that happen? But anyway, what I was gonna say was all this grandfather kind of stuff and the torment, and I think we're gonna discuss it quite in depth.
Yeah.
But I had a bit of an issue with it because for me it felt like they waited too late in Kralkatoric's arc to try and give him character flaws and try and give him purpose and reasoning and a raison d'etre kind of thing. That up until probably like even towards the end of episode 5, he'd just been this badass dragon that was on his rampage, and then suddenly we get into episode 6, and then bam, suddenly he's in pain. Bam, he's got this existing relationship with Aurene that he might have been aware of her, but the fact that they've been communicating or that they can read each other's minds or whatever, it's never been communicated before. It's never been. It wasn't communicated in terms of for Mordred, that Mordramoth was struggling with absorbing Zaitan's power. It's just that his lot became kind of like, they got the death magic stuff and they kind of rolled with it.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with what you're saying. I feel like sorry. I don't want to. I just I don't think it was too late. I think he was and he always was this entire time, and even throughout the last episode was a dragon on the rampage. Even when he's knocked down into the map, he has one wing. It's not stopping. I just think that maybe through injuring him last episode, we kind of broke through to something a bit deeper in him, and it would have been weird and also a bit cheesy if when we're killing Balthazar, Krakatorik's there and is like, sup, like, you know,
He
and was like
was
a
there.
character.
Yeah, he
No,
was there.
he was
He
there,
was
but
like,
I mean,
sup.
like, he wasn't talking to us. Like, I'm glad they left that until we'd beaten the crap out of him. You know, he's running, he's scared, and I feel like in that moment it makes sense for him to then kind of break his cover almost, or something. I think it was honestly the perfect time for it. I liked that it was in this moment of weakness for him that he.
It just felt a little bit late for me to start. I mean, like if you want to characterize them, then yeah, you know, we got an idea of kind of, you know, the of Krakatorrik from the Edge of Destiny book through Destiny's Edge backstory, but it kind of got to the point that suddenly he'd been this very, very angry dragon for so long, and then it turns out not only is was his body injured, but he'd got that there was this inner turmoil between, you know, Zaitan, Mordramoth, and Balthazar within him. For me, becoming aware of that and trying to create some sympathy with the villain of the season, even though you know having a villain that you can sympathize with is, you know, I think is a tell of good writing. I think if you can create a sympathetic villain, you know, you've established a very good narrative, and they did that in the final instance. But for me, it just came a little bit too late. That it had got to the point where it was like, mate, we've been chasing you for a year. Can you just?
It was kind of a reveal. I think it was supposed to be a reveal, like, oh, this is why he's consuming everything blindly. And yeah, but I agree that I like the narrative of you can sympathize with them.
Oh yeah.
And you sympathize with Aurene too, because you realize that she's killing her grandmother. You realize that Krakatorrik had to kill his daughter, you know, essentially. So that was, I think that made a connection.
He was trying to murder him, so you know.
Yeah. There's that. Can we talk about Krakatorrik's final word? Mother?
Yeah.
His final word, he called out to Mother. Which we've never heard an Elder Dragon refer to anything as mother. Like, we've heard grandfather, and, you know, Glint was Aurine's mother, and so there's that, but you would think that the Elder Dragon, that's, like, the top tier, right? Like, did Krakatorrik a normal dragon at one point, and was maybe created from another Elder Dragon?
He was actually channeling Samuel L. Jackson in that last bit, and it was actually mother.
Yeah, but then he died, you know, before he could finish.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I think this is a seed that we're not going to see any growth out of for a while, but I think this is potentially hinting at something. You know, we've had it in our heads. We've had this idea of what the dragons are for ages. Of, you know, whether it's they're tied to the gods, it's aspects of magic, like they're like hurricanes, and they're living things. They're obviously conscious. It's potentially like gods, where, you know, they just ended up being, you know, powerful beings, not necessarily, you know, great. And maybe in Dragon's case is not necessarily bad. But I wonder, I was thinking for a while, and I thought maybe, what if there is this mother or this figure who created all of the dragons?
So what you're saying,
like
is
this one peak kind of this being that did this on purpose, maybe to regulate.
What if it's Tyria itself?
Yeah, this is it. Like, maybe
responded. Tyria itself is some kind of being, and it responded to magic being brought to it, and it says this needs to be regulated, and it like awoken these elder dragons.
Yeah, maybe it chose creatures that were there already to fulfill that role, and then obviously we know, like, just from the torment and everything that was inside him, that too much magic can completely screw somebody up. So maybe it was like, maybe they had purer intentions or something. I don't know. And he says to Aurene, you know, I hope you never have to kill, you know, that which you love, or whatever, something you love. And I feel like that was, he obviously had to do that. And it could be maybe about Glint, which I think would be a basic assumption. Yeah. I think it would be much cooler, because he says mother afterwards, that, I don't know, maybe his mom was an elder dragon before, and there to regulate magic, but maybe she went mental, like and he had to kill her in the same way that Irene's doing it to him, and then like to stop them, things going crazy. So I don't know, maybe it's just kind of like on loop almost. I don't know. It's really interesting though, but I really hope it's something deeper like that, and this mother figure is something huge.
It's Daenerys Stormborn,
like some world creator. I was waiting for some.
It's the literal mother of dragons.
Apparently, the killing what you love or whatever was confirmed to be about Glint.
It makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
But the mother thing is a hint to something larger, apparently.
Yeah, it's
Big Mama.
It has to be Krog's thing.
The eldest dragon.
The eldest dragon. In D&D, I don't know if Mr. T ever threw this in, but there's a creature called a Tarask, and it's like a challenge 30 or something, and it apparently can like sink continents and stuff like that.
Biggest bad.
The biggest bad.
If you're not gonna talk like 3rd edition, I don't know what you're saying. Right?
It is 3rd edition.
Is it in 3rd edition?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not this challenge 30 thing, whatever.
It's like a difficulty rating.
DC 30.
Dude, D&D is for nerds, man.
Nerds.
You're all a bunch of nerds, man.
So I had a couple of observations. I was wondering how you guys felt about them. Canuck is there in the story. But has 0 dialogue.
He has like one line if you like go talk to him or something. Yeah, but no, he has like he's there.
I'm gonna assume that John DiMaggio is busy.
And that's
I don't have that big a problem.
I mean,
with that,
okay. Number 2.
Cousin
no Casimir or Marjorie.
No, I was just gonna say he has a bigger role than Casimir and Marjorie.
They're busy tracking Crocotoric eggs.
They're busy.
Wait.
It would have been the perfect time for them to come back in, and they didn't.
Wait.
They're just they come rushing through the cave at the end. Just. Oh, you found him.
Oh, he's here, guys! Look, he's there.
We were just on the way to tell you, because you would not believe the journey we've had.
This giant portal opened in the sky. He came falling down, and you should have seen it. It was awesome.
I mean, like everybody is there, but
except Cass and Jory.
Well, and Zosha,
at this point, they've been so absent that I think they need to invent something that's happened to them. Like
guys, they're busy. They're busy. They've got a lot of time to make up. They've been gone a long time.
The world is ending. I don't care what you're doing.
That's exactly why, they need to make the most of whatever time's left.
That's right.
Yeah, whatever. And the last thing is, Rox is there, but she doesn't have a lot to say either. Like very few lines.
Well, she's probably gonna leave Dragon's Watch, right? She's
kind of weird with Bram too. It was like she kind of said like, I have something to tell you, but not here, like later. And she
was gonna be like, Bram, I love you.
No, she's bailing on us, and she's gonna join the Olmacon.
She's full Olmacon. 100%. She's totally 100% Olmacon. I think she's gonna leave the guild. Do you think it was that simple? Like she just she doesn't know how to tell Bram that she's gonna go join the Olmacon. Like why would that? Because shouldn't he be happy for her? Like or she thinks.
Sure, yeah, but he's gonna be sad about it because
of course. But I don't know why would she be weird about telling him that? I don't know.
His mom's dead.
It's really
Timmy's dying, and now Rox is away.
I think it's because there was a line at the end of All or Nothing, or was it the beginning of episode 6, where they just like go and be with your families or whatever, and then Bram or Rox says we are, and I think
Timmy says it, and then.
But in this episode, Rox says she found a new family. Yeah, and then she says, "Not that Dragon's Watch wasn't my family, but
I missed that.
Oh,
okay.
Yes, she's bailing on us.
Okay, she feels guilty about bailing on us. That's what it is.
But especially because Bram's a massive arsehole, and also has all of this baggage about.
Don't you think Bram has redeemed himself at this point, though?
Oh yeah, and I like him for sure. I think. His mum going, and then that whole thing, and he already had the baggage of his mum going way before all of this too. in the lore. And then, you know, we obviously have Timey dying, and him and her are close. Like, I just feel like I understand why she's a bit cautious to tell him, considering,
like,
you know,
he got over losing his mom, but now he's kind of losing his friends too.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we not your friend, Bram? Come
Oh,
on.
boo-hoo.
I mean, it does kind of suck for Bram, but
Suck it up, Bram.
yeah.
He's a young Norn.
I don't know. I really like him. Now. Again, having played through the whole season again, like, there's little things you notice, and I think, I don't know, he has redeemed himself a lot since then. Plus, he said he's going to grow his hair back.
I was just going to bring that up because
and he said he loved me, so that's fine.
It's definitely going to be for sale in the gem store at some point. What?
Bram's hair?
Bram's hair. Yeah. Just his head in the bag.
You bought it in the gem store.
Yeah.
No, when Timey goes into the golem, it's going to be the first golem with hair and a bow. Yeah, that's how you know it's Timey.
God.
Oh my god. Put the wig on the golem with the bow. Yes.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, I just what was that? I don't know what they're going to do with they weren't on any of the promotional stuff.
No.
And
they got so many characters now, and they added in Zafira and.
Wait, maybe they should stop. Like,
maybe they should just call a few. You know, have like a big. This would have been the perfect time to kill a few off, honestly.
Like Zafira, she just hadn't. I don't even know what she did this episode.
She's so devoted. She was so all-consumingly devoted to Balthazar. I think she kind of lost her own identity, and so now she's kind of got to discover that. But at the end, in the final cutscene, she bowed to Aurene in the sky, like so, and then the dialogue in the epilogue hinted towards like this is almost like she considers this her new god, Aurene.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's like, anything I can do, if Aurene calls, I'm there. So I don't think she knows how to be a person other than to follow someone.
Yeah.
On the back of that,
and she did say when you meet her as well, like you say to her, like, I can't change what happened, but I can give you the chance to finish what Balthazar started. And that whole thing, she was there the whole time because she needed to finish what Balthazar started. And now I think you're right. I think Aurene's kind of replaced him as her thing. So she could go.
Can we talk about the fact that Keith has somehow accidentally started a cult?
She's a crystal bloom.
Yeah.
She's just like,
I told them not to.
They named themselves. Yeah, she seemed very uncomfortable with it.
Did I miss something? Like, because we got to Dragonfall, and Kate's obviously lovely and blue in that, and then these guys turn up off of a helicopter, and and like, I'm like, who the hell are they? And she's like, these are my dudes.
These are my dudes. These are my boys.
Yeah, I was like,
what's really funny is
we follow the dragon.
Really,
that's it. That's what we do.
Kate is really uncomfortable with these Bloom Knights.
Yeah.
And I can't remember his name, but the other NPC that's with her is just like, no, it's fine. Just go with it. It's just
cool.
Just embrace it. Embrace the
I might give her some purpose now, but
start charging
that could be her thing. Yeah, she's
especially considering, you know, if she does become this kind of avatar of the dragon, then you know. That then they have a kind of, Aurene has an army almost, you know.
Yeah. It like that it sprung up a little bit out. No, it was nice what they were doing. It reminded me a little bit of like the community of the Omlakan, that they're very dedicated to a particular cause and what have you. But it was very, very. I mean, it's not just me. Like, is it? It's not me missing something. They did just suddenly step off of a helicopter.
It was out of nowhere. Yeah,
and they were
Zayn, which is the guy's name, had said that after the loss of Aurene, like a lot of these subjects or whatever started to form because of everything that she has done for them. So when she came back, they're all like, "Yes, we have to fight. We have to fight with her or for her."
There's anywhere that they're like, are they like ex-Zephyrite or something?
They're everywhere.
No, they're from
all walks of life, all groups, all races.
Okay.
However, they really color coordinate. They're all in like these pastel colors. They're very coordinated.
Very good coordination.
Did you notice that the Zephyrite are now color coordinated?
The Zephyrites are in the crystal outfit. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Yes.
It was great.
I love that they continued throughout season 4 to use the Zephyrite song. Became very, very important in a lot of different ways. I mean, that's how they weakened the brand Crystals in Aurene, was they sang the Zephyrite.
Yeah.
It's like sang her song. I love it. I love it.
It's really good. I feel like they've set up like we're at a point now where they could phase some characters out. You know, Rocks can go off.
That's true.
Keith could even go away and deal with those, things.
Can't get rid of Keith. She's my favorite.
Sure, but like I'm just saying, like
we need some Cass and Marjorie.
Because the problem,
time.
that's the thing. Cass and Jory are gone because there's too many people.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like Canuck could go away, do something. Logan and Ritlock could go away, do their things. You know, we can get to the good characters. Like Tiny.
Canuck is the good character.
Tiny's going nowhere. We got Gorick. I gotta say, Gorick, I think Gorick really has enhanced Timey. Timey's been a lot better since Gorick came into the picture.
Yeah, definitely.
They work so well together. Their banter is beautiful.
Yeah.
It was...
Dude, wait. So, I just remembered the bit where she's like, Timey is like, yo, go meet my assistant. And then you get there, and it's just Bram style.
You know what? I thought it was going to be Zoja. I was hyped. I was like,
really?
Oh my god, they're going to bring Zoja back. She's out of her coma. And then just Bram. I'm like,
Hasn't she been in a coma for like 4 years now?
Yeah.
Like, hey, it was tough in that pod.
That's right.
Logan's back. Logan seems really shaken up.
Logan's back. Logan and Ritlock are super bros now.
Yeah,
and I love it. Like,
by the way, I was going to say, did I miss something about Gwen in a previous episode? Because they started mentioning her again.
Well, she appeared in the battle, but she wasn't named. She appeared
last episode in a story instance. She walked right up to us, but she wasn't named. She was the ghostly messenger, but it was very obviously Gwen. It looked exactly like Gwen. And then this episode, they say, Logan, your ancestor wants to talk to you. And it wasn't in the main story. It's just in the map. But there's dialogue. There's voice dialogue between him, Ritlock, and Gwen. And you can talk to her. Not a ton. You can kind of just talk to her about, like, it's just in general kind of like, yes, I still hate Char, but I'm working with them. And even the NPCs in the area around that camp are legit, like, the Char is, like, uncomfortable. He's like, I'm just trying to make her happy because she's legit scary to Char. I love it.
Well, of course she is.
I remember seeing the character model and I was like, that's Gwen, isn't it? But they never mention it, and then suddenly they started. They're just like, oh, so it is Gwen then. I mean,
I'm pretty sure like it even uses the same like face.
It is,
like,
It's. I think
like I'm glad they didn't.
It's just
they might have touched up a bit, but it's
model, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that rather than just go into character creation and try and make it.
It's really unique.
There. Yeah.
So, do we want to talk about the map and
the sky scale?
The sky scale.
This hot
What's
topic.
That?
Yeah.
What's the sky scale?
The sky scale gave me one of the best Guild Wars 2 moments that I've ever had, and it's a bit in the story where you have to go up to the wing, stab it, and then bathe in the blood of your enemies. And I was like,
yes, that was so good.
Hail Satan! I was like,
what do you have to do?
You have to collect the blood.
You have to collect the blood of Kralkatork, and you're just there under the wing, and you're just like,
okay, yeah.
Bathe me.
It's so good.
I didn't think of it like that, but that's exactly what you do. Yeah. I didn't realize that the sky scale could hover. I didn't realize that. I mean, it really is a helicopter. They weren't kidding.
But I love it because it feels like super traditional like flying mounts in an MMO, like just a million people just kind of standing still with their wings flapping. I don't know, it's cool.
It was super cool. I walked up to for the first time when there was a place where you can rent the sky scale, and I just like looked up and I saw like 10 players on sky scales and they're like hovering and I was just like, oh, you can hover, that's awesome. I was like, this thing is so impressive looking, it's so cool.
I can't wait for skins, man. I hope they add a Charcopter skin. Can you imagine?
Just
so you're gonna get Aurene?
No, we're not going to
go. Skin? You don't think ArenaNet wants to print money and give us an Aurene skin?
Oh yeah, that'll print the money, but I think that'd be a bit much.
Maybe an Aurene costume, like a kind of like a cardboard Aurene face.
Oh, it'll be Aurene, but it'll be like you can tell it's not actually Aurene.
Yeah,
but it looks like Aurene. That I can see that happening more. likely.
Charizard skin. Yeah.
Eternal Mirage has it exactly right. Not Charizard, but Arene 5,000, like some
5,000.
exorbitant price, and that people will flip out. I mean, they already flip out over 2K, which I understand.
Right.
But just like $50 Arene skin.
Jeez.
You should just go mental high with it.
Even better, you got to subscribe to their newsletter. You got to follow them on Twitter, follow the YouTube,
Enable
and
two-step
then pay
authentication.
5,000 gems. And then pay 5,000 gems, and then you can have the skin.
Yeah.
Like, make it super complicated in order to get this silly skin.
There's so many cool skin ideas though.
Yeah.
You know, like there's the whole Mordrum.
Yeah, and
Wyvern
only for
stuff.
people
There's-
in the United States. All other countries are
Yes. There we go. That's it.
And you have to go buy some Starbucks.
Smoothies or some tea or whatever. Yeah. Like...
Get your exclusive Kung Fu Tea skin with ArenaNet. Download the app.
Jesus.
Anyway, so the good stuff about the Sky Scale, before we get onto the hot spiciness,
Yeah.
you can actually go really, really high on it. Easily the highest you can get.
Is it not unlimited?
No,
No,
it's not
pretty.
unlimited. Well,
in,
if you have
Sort
the
of, right?
masteries leveled up and you're by a cliff, I believe
Yeah.
you could just keep
That's
going
what I mean.
up
You can just keep going up.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and in the new Living World maps, you can eat the volatile magic.
Oh yeah, that gives you
like
stamina.
a secondary
Right.
endurance.
Volatile
Yeah.
magic
Dragon
will
juice.
reset the it gives you a second. It's not your endurance. It's another like bar
Yeah,
it's
above
like
the
another-
endurance. So it's completely it's the Sky Scale bar. So
It's sort of
I
like
love the dodge as
the
well.
astral,
That's super
the
cool.
astral whatever bar for the druid.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly that.
It's the,
I like the
Dragon
dodge
Juice
roll.
bar.
Yeah,
Power
it's
roll.
it's cool. I mean, I thought like, all right, another
Flight
flying
juice.
mount. We've already kind of got one, but I think
It's
you know,
different enough.
it's so different.
Yeah, definitely.
No, after using the Sky Scale, when I because I didn't have it, I would rent it from the net, go to the nest, and then I would go back to the Griffin to get somewhere, and I was like, I felt limited. I was like, for the first
Yeah.
time, the Griffin felt limiting because of the
Yeah.
Sky Scale.
Mm.
But it's to do with the movement as well, because the Griffin can go super fast, where the Sky Scale is quite slow. But there's little things about it, like if you aim your mouse up or down, like while clicking or whatever, like when you're controlling the camera, you can actually kind of steer it up and down. While like the Griffin just kind of keeps going, wherever you're going.
Yeah.
So like things like that made it feel really, I don't know, just nice to control and stuff. Like you had more control over it.
Oh, people are saying this could be our Pegasus skin. Please,
Could be.
ArenaNet.
I don't want that. though.
Please.
No, we can't. We can't because there are no horses in.
No horses.
There
into it.
could be
No-
though.
no
but
horses.
there is.
No
Please,
horses.
A Pegasus.
I don't want to get too
skin.
technical, but a Pegasus is not a horse.
It might as well be.
It may as well be.
Well, ArenaNet will make it like a sky pony or something. It won't be a horse. It'll be
Sky
called
pony.
Sky Pony.
Maybe
Skin,
like a Pegasus,
It's
but
not
it's
a
like
horse.
a
It's a sky pony. It's not a. It's not a
A
cat. It's a
Pegasus
warpaw.
Doliac, right?
And give it
Oh,
rainbows.
just imagine if they got a Doliac and they put like a pair of like really tiny wings on it, so it's just
Yeah. Like the caterpillar from
like
Bugs
that. Yeah.
A winged
That'd be perfect.
Doliac. Yes,
Yeah.
please. I will buy a winged
The only
Doliac.
thing about the Sky, besides the whole time gate thing, which we'll talk about in a second, the only thing was I keep attaching to stuff. Like, I don't want to attach to the
Oh,
wall,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm there.
Stop pressing
If
And
W.
when I'm there,
Yeah, that's it. If you don't press W, it's fine.
Mm.
W is not even bound. What does that mean?
Well,
Forward?
basically,
No,
Forward.
it's like
Yeah.
move forward.
Forward.
No,
Yeah,
I don't even have that bound. It's not even a key for me.
All right,
How do you
so
run
what-
forward?
All right, so
My
whatever your
mouse.
right, so whatever your forward action is, if you press it when you're up against a wall, your Sky Scale automatically
hang on
connects
to
to the wall.
How do
All
I
you
get
have
it
to do-
off? It eventually just falls off.
You just let go
Just
of
let
it.
go
Just
of
let
the
go.
forward button. And you'll just hover. You just let go of forward.
Yeah,
and
you
hover,
just
and then you like
hover.
turn
that,
around.
But I don't know. It's
You just
very
need practice.
sensitive.
You need
Yeah,
practice.
like
Right.
Zorik
Just
is
practice.
saying, it's very sensitive.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't
It
even
is,
have
yeah,
a forward button.
Well, that's a problem. Right there. That's okay.
Who
Nobody
needs
even
to go
has this thing
forward?
yet. Who
Forget
even
that.
has the Sky Scale yet? Does anybody
Yeah.
even own it?
I have it. I got it day one, guys.
No, you didn't.
I know I didn't.
Oh wait, hang
No
on.
one got it.
I don't
No
want
one
to make
has it.
chat. I don't want to make chat angry, but partners just get it auto unlocked. So
Yeah, we
have to
gotta-
Oh
show
God,
it.
don't say
ArenaNet
that. No.
ArenaNet
Can we
shields
just-
the pair of you. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah, I'm
are
on,
we
I'm on the
supposed
other
to
side of the
provide
fence now,
good
and it feels
content?
good. Feels good to be on this side of the fence.
to have some integrity.
I'm gonna shut the show off. Okay. I'm gonna turn this podcast around. Oh my God. I honestly
Back
haven't
to
even
an
started the
effect.
collection yet, but
Yeah.
I
The
hear it's-
collection's fine. Going around hunting for stuff, like, it's chill, man. It's okay, but the time gating is pretty rough.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
it's
Like-
because y'all just want
Um,
everything immediately. Work for it over time.
It's
Gives you
because-
something to do.
Oh, it's because we're that give it to me now generation.
That's right,
Yeah, that's it.
I know.
You're so
Millennials.
kids. Come on.
Ugh.
Come on. You guys have your legendary great swords day one. Get your Sky Scale day one. Get, defeat,
I know.
get the story day one. Then you got nothing to do. Look at this. Now you got weeks of content because you're gonna unlock the Sky Scale.
I think
thank
I
you.
think there's
Thank
some validity to that argument, but
I think people should be able to unlock it as whenever they want. Like,
yeah,
if
definitely.
it's, like, if you want to pace yourself, go for it. If you don't
Yeah.
want to pace yourself, then that's your choice. But
Like
to do it like this, where you literally just can't do anything, is just.
No, I
would rather
actually
gold
agree.
gates.
yeah,
Like, I would
especially
way rather
after,
a gold gate than a time gate.
yeah,
'Cause
especially
at least then you
after,
can make progress.
especially after BioWare got hammered for the Tombs mission in Anthem after it came out. That despite the fact it takes like 4 hours to do anyway because of how they left it, that originally the gate, like this mission was just supposed to stop. And
Yeah, it was just to extend playtime.
yeah, you had to come back to it days later just so the story would be stretched out. I mean, like people have said, I think Zorik said it, that people want to enjoy the game at their own pace, and I
Yeah.
don't really think it's for a developer to say how quickly someone eats the content up. If someone wants to go into the game, do everything in the first 3 hours, and then then jump on Reddit and go, "Oh my god, there's nothing to do in the game." It's their fault. They've played the game. It's free. Let's remember.
Well, this
So-
isn't though.
Well, you have to have Path of Fire, but you can get it for like
And the
$12.
Living World.
And it's yeah, the Living World.
Using our links in the description. Use our links. You can buy it.
Use the links in the description.
I just haven't.
You might want to get
heard
rid of mine.
good-
Mine don't work anymore.
Oh,
Just replace Alex's with mine. That'll be fine.
Just leave his name there.
Exactly.
I haven't seen a good counter argument to why the time gates are good.
There's
I understand why
no
they're-
arguments.
I understand why they're good for developers, but for the player, it's just a bad feeling.
I'm
and
fine with
I've
it
never
taking
been a fan of
ages
it.
to do, but when it's like artificial like that, I think that's crap.
Yeah.
It's the whole like ends justifying the means thing. I think, or whatever the other way
And
around.
you know what?
I'm stupid.
For me personally, I'm not even upset necessarily about the time gate. I'm only on collecting eggs. I haven't even hit the time gate yet, but that's just the pace that I'm currently playing at. But if people want to rush it, the other adverse effect this has too, I think, is, and I think there's an argument to be made for this. Once the community finds out that there is a time gate, then they rush up to the time gate because they don't want to be left waiting
Yeah.
extra long for this time gate. So for most of them, I don't think they even appreciate the different collections they have to do and kind of the story involved with the Sky
Yeah,
Scale
100%.
to get to that point. Like right now,
I
I'm
agree,
collecting
100%.
eggs, but I had to get medicine and rub it on them, and I had to
Yeah.
go find them and then find the sick ones to apply the medicine. And I think a lot of people just skip through all, like they go through it as fast as they can, find a guide or whatever the case is, and just to get to the time gate because they don't want to have to wait 6 days or whatever it is
Yeah, till a reset or something.
to continue playing and getting that thing.
Yeah. I also think it's bad PR, or at least like community PR for ArenaNet, just because there's always a backlash when there's this kind of stuff. And also, there's not really any monetary gain for ArenaNet. Okay, it keeps people in the game, maybe they'll buy jams, but surely the best thing would be to let people unlock it fast as hell and then sell us skins, right? Surely that's a better way to make extra money. So I just don't understand why it's there. I don't really understand the purpose of it. In my head, it was like, oh, there's a new flying mount coming. They're advertising it to everyone as a feature of the patch. This is probably for people who don't have the Griffin, because that was like secret. It was like 200-300 gold. Like maybe this is a more accessible thing, and maybe it is, but it seems almost like there's a bigger barrier for this than there is the Griffin.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. There's a comment about would you rather pay 500 gold or wait 3 days? Why does it have to be either of those? Like, why do you need to put this 500 gold in our face or something?
Yeah.
Because the players who play excessively are just going to have it and they don't care. And the people who play a little bit more casually or don't have enough time to invest are not going to have 500 gold. So why do you have to have why is there this thought process that you feel you have to have a time gate or a gold gate to earn the sky scale? And by the way, if it wasn't for this time gate, everybody else is singing praises about this patch, about the story, about how much they love the map. People, they love Exordium, they love everything, but it's being all overshadowed now by the fact that a time gate exists.
100% agree. It's strange, and sure, I agree. I don't know why there's either. I think it would have been cool to have like a kind of easier alternative to a flying, to the Griffin as a flying mount. But even if it was a gold thing, it would be. I mean, people would still complain about that. But if you're fine with players unlocking a legendary weapon seconds after it's in the game,
right?
Why does this need to be restricted so heavily? What's the point in that? I just don't understand the benefit to anybody that there's this kind of gate there.
You also can't 100% the map yet either.
Really?
Because
you can.
Yeah, you can. There's a mastery point you need a sky scale for.
But you can do that.
Yeah, but you can
Griffin,
rent,
right?
Of course you can rent it, can't you?
Yeah.
Mastery
points
aren't
part of
go
map
on the map.
completion.
I just go. Yeah, well, that too. No, they're not. But I go and rent my sky scale, so I'm always on a sky scale right now, but I just don't own it.
Yeah.
The other positive, the other positive thing, they patched it so that you could get your spirit shards again, because that was really annoying.
Oh yeah, that was
it's time gated, and I can't do the mastery because I don't have the sky scale yet. And all that experience, like I was playing the map a lot, and all that experience is just going to waste because. And don't get me wrong, I've got 5,000 or 6,000.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, who cares?
We're not short on them.
But at least it's still like I know that I'm missing out on extra spirit shards because I can't do this time gated thing, So
I mean, it's again, I always end up feeling that little things like this and let's be honest, it is blown out of proportion quite significantly. It's the time gate in an MMO. It's 3 days. It's not. In the grand scheme of things, after nearly 7 years of the game being live, 3 days isn't going to kill you, is it?
No, but it depends on that, because it can be longer. You need charged quartz, and so that can lead you up to like a month of gating if you have none. Like that's like an extra 10 days or something. No, you have to charge them at.
You can buy the base crystals and then you have to charge them.
And you can only do that like once a day, right?
You can only do it once a day, yeah.
So that's another heavy.
Yeah, it's 22 extra days if you have none of them.
All right,
okay. It's really rough.
Fair enough. I hadn't done the maths. That's
I think a better time gate, even though it was much smaller, was the beetle mount, because you had to do world bosses. So you had to wait for the world bosses. Yeah. Right, and that was fine. Nobody complained about that. It was perfectly fine.
I was just doing that like the past couple days, and it was actually like kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun to go back to those
bosses. It takes you around doing different things, and I think that's a way better way of doing it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like if it was like a Tequatl or something, or even Triple Trouble, that is almost a time gate, because you have to wait for the event to spawn and for like
Trouble, especially
an organized an organized run of it. Like that's almost a time gate without being a time gate. And I think like that would have been a way smarter way of doing it than just straight up.
Yeah. Like I think I don't necessarily think it's the issue that people are making it out to be, but it is just such a weird thing to leave in that someone must have seen it and just gone, are we sure we want to
no,
do this?
This is absolutely something that they decided on together.
This is by
as a
design.
team or something. Yeah,
For
they
sure.
designed it this way.
That's just bad design then. That's just bad design for collection. Like,
No, but I
I
think
would agree. But
the only way I think this got through, the only reason this is here is because maybe they don't know how long it's going to be until the next episode, till season 5 starts.
yeah, but
And maybe this is just something to hook people on, especially because
that's
it's going to be a while till side stories come back. It's going to be a while till we get information. There's not much to speculate on. I think they're just trying to set up a way to keep people coming back, at least even if it's for a couple minutes.
My argument to that would be it's actually driving players away from wanting to.
I agree. I don't think it's a good way to do that, but that's the only logical thing I can reach as it in terms of a reason why this is there. Just something, some login.
Yeah.
How was Aurora time gated? I don't remember.
There was some. I mean, I would have thought the bigger problem with Aurora
was all of the map stuff you had to do. I think, right? Wasn't it? Like getting the every single thing.
You had to master all of season 2 or season 3.
Right. And then that was the Wayfarer's Henge or whatever it was, right?
Oh, the Wayfarer's Henge. Now that, Jesus.
That was the worst part.
That was the long grind. But I don't know. I personally enjoyed going back every single day and I'm working up towards this thing. But I think a skin is different than a mount. Everybody wants to play with the mount, I think
sure.
Do you think that's where the frustration comes from? Is this new shiny toy, this mount that's and everybody just wants this new. It's a new mechanic. It's a new mode of movement. That's more than just I'm trying to get this skin or I'm trying to get this legendary.
This is it.
In the trailer.
I was saying this to Val. Imagine it was like the Griffin, where it was secret. Nobody knew about the Griffin until it was leaked or data mined or people got to the end. And I think if it hadn't been shown off in the trailer as heavily, maybe we use it in the story. So then people are like, well, the text there, of course, maybe it is in the game. And then it turned into this huge adventure thing that was time gated. Then sure, but I think a lot of the backlash lies in the fact that it was advertised so heavily as part of this patch, and it's going to be a part of
within that
but
map,
it's also going to be
as much as you want. But I understand.
It's
not
people
what
are going to get
expecting.
it when season 5's out. Probably, for a lot of people, it's not necessarily a part of this map. So, this patch.
I don't know.
So I think you offended Ink so much he just got up and left.
Sorry, but
I don't know. It's like I say. I don't know. It's a bit of an overreaction from the community as always, but I think at least on some level it is kind of justified because it's just a bit of a pain. It's stuff like the ridiculously expensive weapons from the first episode of this season that they looked pretty decent, but there was no need for them to be that expensive. And I don't think I've even seen people wielding them in game at the moment.
I don't remember them.
They were like the astral weapons, were they?
Yeah.
I can't remember what the skin was called.
Oh, okay. Right.
But the cost for them was just so extortionate that everyone just went. I mean,
But it's just a weapon skin. It's not a mount. It's a completely. Yeah. That's why I think the biggest backlash is because it's a mount. Was advertised, and you can advertise Exordium, which is not time gated, but it's insanely expensive. But people expect that from a legendary weapon. You go in knowing this legendary weapon costs this much and is going to take this many resources.
It's an account feature. It's like adding a new class to the game, but you have to there's a time gate for like 2 months or something before you can make a character that's that new class or something. Like time gating the Tengu.
Dear Lord.
Yeah.
Like that. Do it, ArenaNet.
Weirdly, what's not getting much love at the moment is the fact that there's a new upgradable armor set in the game.
Dude, and it's really easy and chill to get as well. Like it's fun to get, and it looks really nice.
That
was done well.
That was super considerate of time and stuff.
Go in and complete the raids for the mount.
Oh my god!
A raid locked mount.
Can you imagine?
That would get even more backlash and time gating.
Skyskill needs battle experience. Take it into the raid and
Yeah.
I don't know. Would there be as much backlash as there was for the World versus World
Oh,
exclusive
there'd be
mount?
more.
There would
There'd
be more, for
More.
sure.
Yeah.
Because I tell you why. Because the World v World thing, the people who were annoyed about that were World v World people. Because for us, like normie PvEers, you know, it's chill to just go in and grind for a bit. Like, who cares? But for the raids, you know,
Yeah, I
it's
didn't have to
for
coordinate
your
with other
standard
players really to get the
You
World
don't have to do
versus World
anything.
mount.
Yeah.
It's perfect though, because raids you can only get the reward.
Oh my
points per
god,
raid.
Inks, no.
So if you made it like you need like 10 of these
Thanks.
things,
Time gated.
Don't.
time gated raid content.
We need
yes,
to,
it's
we need to
perfect.
censor
It
you,
fits.
dude. You're giving them all
But the thing is, like, legendary armor was time gated anyway, wasn't it? Because
and people were mad about that too as well.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, yeah, but
the
that's
the
because
provisioner
legendary armor
tokens,
with
yeah.
raids are not available to
Yeah.
to a lot of the
Oh,
general.
the 1% of the player base. You know, what about us?
Yeah. Did you guys do the meta? Just bringing it back to the
Yes.
episode.
Yep.
So, how did you guys feel about the map and the events?
It was really fun. I do wish
I
there
like
was
the
like a
meta.
big boss, but yeah, it was cool.
Right, exactly. I like the meta, but then eventually Krakatork just emits ooze and you're done.
Yeah.
I spawned at
shows
the
up.
very end of the meta after a story instance. I just spawned where the chests were. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, free loot.
Yeah.
You know, what's really funny is I've been saying, like, on tea time and stuff the last couple of weeks, where I felt like in order to do proper justice to an Elder Dragon fight, you needed to have a story instance like Mordramoth, which we got, and there needed to be something like the Mouth of Mordramoth fight, because I felt like that combo worked really well for an Elder Dragon. And we get that here to an extent, except that the world meta event, or the map meta event, is not as nice as the Mouth of Mordramoth.
No.
Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it's not as nice.
What the devs said was that they were looking to go for an amalgamation of Dragon Stand, because they looked at Dragon Stand, they realized where some of the shortcomings of the Dragon Stand map were, the fact that you can't really do much in it unless the meta's running it and you run with a group.
And I 100% agree. Like, this map is way better than Dragon Stand.
Yeah, absolutely. But they wanted to bring a little bit of they wanted to bring the Silver Wastes kind of ideas into it as well. You can drop in, you can do some group events, you can do a few single events, you can go around and kill some champions, that kind of thing. And they've done a really good job.
I was going to say I think they've
Overall.
succeeded. For sure.
Like the events certainly feel a lot more dynamic. You all start from a singular point, and instead of like the Reba outposts being there, you actually have to go out, like you have like the portable waypoint that you have to defend, and then you have to build the bridges and all that.
It's weird. It's such a huge mash of stuff. It does feel like the Silver Race. It's definitely got Dragon Stand there, like even down to the kill the 3 bosses and make sure they're dead at the same time kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, but it also reminds me of Verdant Brink a lot with the little outposts and that kind of,
I was getting a bit too.
It even
I don't know.
I don't know if you guys are aware, but the 3 branded bosses that spawn at the same time, you need to kill them within a short period of each other, or else they respawn.
Yeah.
So
I had a feeling that would
a
happen.
little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, you need to time that a little bit. I just and I can't think off the top of my head what I would like to see, but
oh my god,
a little
Sorry,
something
someone
extra
just said.
So that when he puts his shell on, you fight one last big boss to end the whole thing, because the end of it is kind of just the end weak points, and now we can't do any more damage out here, which connects perfect to the story, but. Maybe a giant branded something should have spawned.
The finale did kind of peter off, but I got a bunch of loot, so I don't really.
I don't really mind that much. I think that was the only thing it needed, was just.
And then when it's over,
like a mini Shatterer or something.
Right. Yeah. And then when it's over, you have a number of mini bosses that spawn, and for each one of those you killed, 3 more chests pop up at that location. So, the chest, I don't know that the chests are that amazingly rewarding,
profitable,
but you get lots of loot at the very least. So
it feels good. So I think it's going to be run for a while.
There is an ascended chest that you can get, and it's called Aurene.
It's Aurene's gift or something.
Aurene's gift, is it? You get like a gift. Oh, it's called the Gift of Aurene. Oh no, that's from a Crack in the Ice, eh? Hang on, let me find it.
Definitely gift of Arena.
Is there
Like,
like a
I'm
unique
not sure.
skin or something in it, or is it just an
I
ascended
don't
chest?
think so. It's just a stat set, I think, that's interesting.
No.
I'm
It's a unique skin, I believe.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
very nice.
New rewards.
I did see it drop for somebody in the map the other day.
Yeah, I can't. Hang on. If I find it, I'll pop a link in the chat.
Oh, that's
Basically,
cool.
But yeah, there's like some misshot on it. Oh, it's called. They're called weapons of the scions. So.
Oh, it's
like,
new skins, like the tech ones. Cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, well, that's very cool.
It's a
they're
set
the
of new skins?
Yeah. They're the
Ooh.
opposite of like the
The
sunless
Tacon
skins.
ones.
So the sun skins were kind of like black and green. These ones are kind of like blue and silver.
Oh, that's actually right.
Oh.
I like those.
So they look so like they're ascended particle kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
And they've got
A
little
new
sparkle.
infusion would have been cool.
A new
Like
infusion, pay
Like a
thousands.
super rare infusion to drop. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like whoop.
Cool.
This is what I'm talking about, ArenaNet. You can just palette swap, color swap the weapons, and it's a unique.
This is
A
why
unique
you
reward.
will never get dire weapon skins.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
You can't
It's like
never have
SAB.
dire
You
Unless you
weapons.
give us 2,000 gems, and then we can talk.
Yeah. Actually, here's a thing.
I think
Now-
legendary should be dieable.
I agree.
Maybe
That'd
Gen
be
3.
Maybe.
Gen 3, you're so funny.
You don't think there's gonna be another
Dude,
set
how
of
long
legendary
did it-
weapons?
They've
Well, how
they've
long
not
did it
even
take
fin-
for Gen 2 to come out and finish?
And they've not even finished Gen 2. If you want to be a stickler.
They're not doing
well,
underwater.
Oh,
They
you're
said
right.
they weren't gonna.
Right,
Though.
they weren't going to, yeah.
I don't think we'll
Man,
see
I
another
mean,
set
how
of
long?
legendary.
What year was Heart of Thorns?
2015, late 2015. So it's taken 3.5 years to get a full set.
It's only 3.5 years once, Alex. Just it's 1 year, 3.5.
It's 1 year,
times.
3.5 times. Yeah.
But in
To
all
be serious
seriousness,
for a minute, though, I do think there is a possibility we might actually see them continue to do legendaries the way they've been doing it. I don't think they'll ever
absolutely.
announce it as part of an expansion, but I
No.
wouldn't be surprised if
Agreed.
you see another legendary pop up here or there.
Mm-hmm.
I
every
actually
once in a while or
think this
something.
is. I actually think this is a cool way to introduce them, rather than just like dropping them all at once. I actually like this. It just adds an
they'll
extra
never
layer
drop a
of
whole
hype
set all at
for
once.
the.
Mm-mm. No,
No. I just think this is like a super. It makes it more exciting. About
sure.
when a new patch comes.
It's a feature of every release. I absolutely
Yeah.
think they're gonna start over and start doing another set with just one every episode, like they've been doing. There's no reason for them not to do that.
Yeah, it's
the,
better for you.
I think they're just too big of a selling point
Yeah.
in general for players to
Mm-hmm.
craft.
and they are a
them
fantastic money sink as well.
Absolutely, a great
Yeah.
money sink for the economy.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see it with season 5, but I guess
think
we're
they
kind of
might
over
take
the
it
fact
forward.
now that they were all supposed to come in with Heart of Thorn. But yeah, I
Well,
can.
it's a perfect
I-
time. Season 5 starting, new set of legendary weapons coming out.
Yeah.
Speaking
I'm not
of,
sure.
great way to kind of wrap up the show here. Where do you think we're going in season 5? What's next?
Well, I personally, I think Alona is done for now.
Oh, it's gotta be. Oh,
I
yeah.
think Alona and Aura finished. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
I think everyone's thinking Cantha. I still think that's gonna be an expansion destination.
Hmm.
I don't think we're going to see
I think we'll see another
I've
expansion.
been trying to look at the last cutscene where you see her fly away. I was trying to work out what direction she was flying in.
It was either east or west, depending on the time of day. So she won't go into.
She went up into the sky. What are you two talking about?
She flies off into the distance, dude.
She
a-
flies off into the. So like
into the sun.
not
Rest in peace, Doreen.
into the
I might kill her.
The sun was on the horizon, and she flew
into the
towards
sunrise
it,
or the
so-
sunset, and I'm
Yeah.
inclined to believe it was the sun. It was the sunset because it was a little bit
I
more orangey
agree.
than
Yeah.
I
brighty.
think
So
we're just going to stand on that cliff and wait for her to come back. That's going to be the whole season.
I think they'll. I think we could go like north. I think Char Homelands or further into the Norn area. That's like, I feel like that's what everyone's saying, but I think that is quite likely. Heading east more, I think that could happen for sure. I still want to go to like the west across the sea. That'd be super interesting.
That's a good point, Underdark. Are we sure the sun sets in the west on Tyria? Do we know?
Oh my god, dude.
Yes, it does. I don't know.
Does, yeah.
No, you actually.
I think Char
so
Homelands is probably a good. That's where I'm going to put my money. Charm. Yes, Charm Homelands.
Charmlands.
Where we're going to put
the Charmlands.
Charmlands. Where I'm going to put my money. I will say I don't think we're going to see much Elder Dragon story in season 5. I think like they might mention it here and there, but I think it's sort of done for now.
This is kind of why I think that gives Cantha more legs, because if we're not going to be focusing on dragons, it's probably going to be largely political, right? So, you know,
we need to cleanse the jar.
Like like I still don't like, even though Cantha was my first Guild Wars experience, I don't understand why people are so.
Because it's awesome.
It was okay.
No, you're wrong.
Let's be real. It was okay.
It was okay.
It's pretty.
It's nostalgia. It's pretty.
Yeah.
The music's nice.
The city parts were brown and ugly. They did a great job of separating the player base depending on whether or not you had prophecies or factions for arguably the most difficult mission in the game, only to then jam you all back together. They then split the player base again towards the end game and only brought them back together for the penultimate boss. Like there were so many bad design decisions.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, like, how long ago was that? It was like over 10 years ago.
Nearly 15 years
what
ago.
If we get a turtle mount that you can just hide inside and enemies walk away from you? But it moves like really slow, really slow.
Yeah, you're like completely immune, but it takes you like a year to walk in.
No, it's for me, like this Cantha.
That's a time gate, dude.
is everybody just getting their weeb on? And it's like, okay, yeah, it was okay.
No.
It was okay.
The aesthetic is beautiful. That's why I love the Asian aesthetic. It's so gorgeous.
I think your problem is that it's been yelled about for ages, right? Yeah. Everyone's been asking for it a million times, so it's kind of like boring to hear about. Almost.
Not really. No, it's not that. It's that for me, Alona, Eye of the North, and Prophecies were all better than factions, story areas, and mechanics.
But you know what? I think that's almost a reason for them to go back, though, because I think that they can reinvent that whole region almost. You know, whether it's just through appearance, aesthetics, whether it's through the political stuff. Like, there's a lot they can do with that kind of time frame there.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
you know, sure, they made bad design decisions then, but they're probably not going to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be completely different.
You know, I mean, maybe there's different faction gear to get, but it's not going to be like
Having said that, if we end up not going to Cantha, I think we'll be going to the Far Shiver Peaks, because I think you know, eventually I think the first episode might be in the Char Homelands, just so we can do a little bit of clear up from the Kralkatorrik thing, because that's where he woke up. So you go to the Char Homelands. If you remember in Eye of the North, you can go from the Char Homelands and then to the Far Shiver Peaks from there.
Yeah.
Kind of do it that way and then start exploring.
Too many snow maps.
Sorry?
Too many snow maps.
Too many snow maps.
I mean, we did just get one.
All they do is make a desert map and paint it white.
I think you see, this is why the Homelands would be really cool, because there's a lot they can do with that.
Green.
Lots of green and mega devourers everywhere.
Yeah, but it'd be cool. So you could do like Char Homelands. You do the Far Shiver.
We could have a devourer amount.
Absolutely devourer amount.
That's 100%. Like,
we could Molotov Rocktail, man.
Yes,
best boss. He was cool.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's the most likely.
I think we're gonna go off Tyria, either into the mists. The mists are messed up. Kralkatorrik screwed up the mists. Like I said, is the underworld gone? When people die now, where do they go? Do we know? Are they going?
It's funny you should say that, because I think
I should say the Fisher of Well. No, because Desmina is ruling the underworld now. So that's true. But the Kralkatorrik Eater, what? Things are messed up.
What's going on?
Things are messed up. I think it's going to be like repairing these messed up things. I don't know.
I had an idea that like maybe the mists is actually like an issue. Like there's something wrong, and that's why they're there. Maybe, you know, maybe we should. There's going to be a plot point or something where we have to like kind of delete the mists. Maybe it's there because things are out of order or something.
Yeah.
And so we can just get rid of the mists, and it will improve the story, and
Just
it will,
get
you know,
rid
clear up
of
all
the
these question
mists.
marks. Yeah, dude. How'd you clear mist?
Oh God.
A fan?
A dehumidifier.
That's what Aurene is. She's the dehumidifier Elder Dragon.
Exactly. But like, imagine though, like if it turned out that like the mists were all these worlds, they were all leaking in, and it's becoming chaotic and it's influencing all these worlds or something, and we just have to delete the mists. Like, I think that would actually be cool. But you know,
I think
it's too much of a plot. You know, it's just the plot. The mist is the plot of the game. To be fair,
the mist. It is kind of an idea that'd keep the maps fresh and varied, isn't it? Different part of the mists every episode. So yeah, I think wouldn't necessarily be against that.
But I'm kind of tired of that. Even just the word,
the mist.
Like I'm just sick of hearing
the word mist.
Yeah, I want to go back to something that's like more
moist?
grounded.
Oh,
Moist.
just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It's not good.
But just like, I'm just sick of hearing about the mists, and I like going back to a place that feels like a fantasy world. You know, you're just walking in a field and it's normal. There's no freaking mists everywhere.
All the ghosts are.
Yeah, like
everywhere.
Snow maps.
I want animals and plants and soil.
We've got enough of that. The entire game is that.
I want floating stuff.
I want something we've never seen before.
Space.
That's right. Space. Hey, Aurene went up first, and I was like, oh, she's going to make a planet, and that's where we're going. Unfortunately, no, she came back down. So, we'll see.
I'd be fine with an underwater. Even that's just like a nice shake-up. I want a shake-up. Something a bit fresh. I'm kind of really tired of the desert now. The same way I was really tired of the jungle.
Yeah, we need something.
I'm ready for something
fresh and new, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see in season 5. But that's going to wrap up today's GuildGab, guys. Thank you guys for all being here to talk about this newest episode, the finale. So excited. We'll do it again. Season 5, episode 1.
See you next year, guys.
Yep. Good luck.
The leaves will be falling off the trees.
We've got to do one before then.
Well, if something happens.
That'd be fun.
It's a reading.
Yeah. Guys, you can, there's some links in the Twitch chat if you want to follow these guys for their awesome content. GuildGab is time gated. Damn it. And you can catch this on YouTube as well. The links are down in the description to follow everybody. Please do that. Stay tuned for more Guild Wars 2 content. We will see you next time. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Have fun in game. Take care. Bye.
Bye.